Hello everybody. Today in my lab I've got Nakamichi DR-2 and it's appeared to be a full version. So I just unscrew the cover and all screws has been tied on factory. It has a couple minor scratches, but all in all condition looks to be very good. As you may see, a Dolby is done using Sony chips for Dolby. Everything looks to be pretty well structured here. No concerns. Thank you, transport. The only thing I so far identified that the capstan belt is get too loose. That's why capstan doesn't rotate. Our motors work fine. Mode works fine. Everything looks to be fine. So the next step, I will replace the belt and we'll see how it performs. The nice thing to see is the head condition. So this is probably the last weathered heads I ever seen on the Nakamichi decks. So as you may see, those are very nice. We'll see how it will perform. I just recently completed 689 and it sounds very good. I would compare and provide you with ideas if DR-2 or later Nakamichi decks are the same good as the earliest decks. On the sound quality, from everything I've heard on the internet, the sound became more detailed, but at the same time it lost this Nakamichi worms, but it's individual, so I like to compare myself. I will make a video. I got a digital recorder. I would be able to record from the line output to provide you with the best ideas how this Nakamichi deck sounds and if there is any difference between older models and newer models on the sound. So thank you and hope to see you soon when deck will become operational. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, here I'm over again, to be able to pull up Sankyo Transport fully and work on it safely without any issues. I had to, first of all, disconnect all these connectors from the board, both boards. So there were 3 connectors on the control board and 3 connectors on the main board for audio signals. And to be able to release this free, I had to also unscrew the front panel and additionally to remove the top covers. So the next step, I will be working on this transport. I will check everything, replace belt. You see belt is loose and oil as needed to make sure that it will perform to the maximum possible extent. And here is probably a better close-up on the heads. So I'm quite excited to see how it will perform after all work will be done. So thank you for attention and see you later. Well, hello over again everybody. So here is the details on the tape transport for the Nakamichi DR-2. So if you see, it has a gear transport. So you see, as reels are working through the gear. What I've been surprised to find out that I don't see any friction here. You see, usually when we have a deck with gear connections, I've been observing that all companies put friction over here on the motor, so to make sure that will be a possibility to slip between motor speed and the reel. And I don't observe it here, or like I have seen other deck when we had like frictions on each of the reels, and then like we don't have a friction on the motor piece here. But this is the first time when I'm observed that there is no frictions at all. So pretty interesting. So I've been replacing pinch rollers, as you see. So there is brand new pinch rollers installed. I replaced belts, but I'm still not happy with the flutter. So probably I have to disassemble and oil the motor and capstans to make sure that flutter will go away. All in all, construction is very different from the all other decks I've seen. Huh, interesting, see? Yes, it also works as a brake. Huh, interesting. If you see here, if heads go up, it will brake the left gear, and it will work as a friction. So it looks like a friction belt. Interesting construction, you see. So it works freely. So for example, for fast forward or rewind, but when heads go up in the play mode, you see, it will block this gear, and it will make a friction. So this belt looks to be important. I have written this on the forums, but I didn't realize how it works until this moment. You see? So it will do a friction. So here is a friction for the left reel to make a tension. So your tape would not be chewed. Okay, got it. However, like I'm still like not happy that there is no friction on this piece. So I can't find like any. If you do, let me know. That's what I read on the forums, that guys say that this belt is very important and needs to be replaced like every 5 years on this tape transports. And this has been used, I believe, from CR4, CR7, this tape transport. They had, initially they had idler here, but then they switched to the geared approach. So it's exactly the same transport on CR7 later models. What else? What I can say here? What I like, what I didn't. I like that everything made from metal. There are less plastic parts which holds everything together. So now we have metal parts which holds everything together. If you remember, there was a multiple cases when Nakamichi decks has been broken during delivery, and the main part is those plastic pieces which holds different plates of chassis together just fell apart. For example, in the 689, I had to drill through those plastic pieces and install long screw shafts, like to make sure that everything will be tight and hold well together. So what else? I see here a ball bearing, you see, just right there. So this will make sure that we will have a stable position every time when our carriage will get up to the tape. So this is a good sign. I like this new brass fitted pinch rollers, looks pretty nice. And I like these heads. So this head looks like almost new, like completely different from what I observed from like all older Nakamichis from 79 to 85. So these later Nakamichis are still in a good shape. They haven't been like used so much. And I'm already listening to the frequencies and like, wow, it's so many high frequencies from this DR2, much more than from previous models. So they definitely adjusted their pass, and it's like sounds much brighter and much more detailed than the previous model. So that's probably why some guys saying like that I don't like how new Nakamichi sounds. maybe older, like warmer, like someone tells like lamp sound, like from lamp amplifiers, when there is not too many high frequencies, but all in all like pretty pleasant and like warm sound. Like, yeah, I still have 681, like, and it sounds very pleasant. Like R is probably most pleasant sound from all decks from this older series I had. Okay, let's me move in. So my next goal is to oil capstans. So and oil and disassemble and oil motor and clean up. So make sure that it wouldn't be any flutter. If it will not help, so the last resort I will have to disassemble this guy and like make sure that it will run smoothly without any like jumps in the speed. We'll see. I did run him yesterday for about like 4 hours to make sure that it can treat itself. So far, not many changes, so we'll see. I'm really thinking that this may affect it. There is no friction, so like when I was adjusting the tension for this motor during playback, it definitely was changing the flutter. So when I reduce tension, then like flutter goes lower and lower, like, and gets away. So probably that's the reason that this top motor, I will see. I will need to run a couple more tests here. Return back to you with results. Thank you and have a good day. Hello again. So here I'm trying to see how our improved tension improves the tape pass. So from what I can see, our tape on the left guide is steady and flat now. Before it was like wobbling and sometimes like go and slipping. Then I replaced pinch rollers. It did help, but it was not like tight before the left capstan. And now, as you may see, it's pretty nice tight, and tape pass is like steady as it could be. So I hope you can see it, because I'm looking through the magnifying glass, and take a look yourself. Okay, now couple steps forward. So I removed capstans. When you're removing capstans, please make sure that you would not lose these plastic spacers, which sits on top of these brass springs. And don't lose your rings, which are installed from the other side of the tape transport on the capstans, to make sure that oil would not get into your tape. Then I have to heat this pulley with a heat gun to remove it from the motor axle or shaft. And next step, I will disassemble motor and clean it up inside, oil it and assemble it back. One more step forward. I had to remove the surrounding box. Now I have to desolder this board to be able to get into the motor itself. Okay, while we are preparing to desolder the board, I will be using this desolder station. It works for me pretty well. It has a vacuum pump, and it provides a pretty good temperature. And here is my soldering station, just to make sure that you may see it. So what I will be doing, I will desolder this board to safely get into the motor itself, clean it up inside, oil the shaft. You see it sits in the brass bearing. Shaft sits pretty well, so no movements, pretty good. You see the sound? Sometimes it's screaming, so this means that there is no oil on the bearings, so we need to add some oil on the bearings to make it run smoothly. I will keep you updated. Okay, let's continue. So board is desoldered, and you see how the motor itself looks inside. I will open it now. You see it's closed with those small cuts, so let's see how we may clean it and make it run smoothly. Here is the motor internals. So as you may see here, I would have to clean the pass with the contacts. You see it's oxidized a little bit. Here is the contacts itself. It's pretty nice little scene. It's done very nice, very good, very reliable construction. So you may see yourself. It requires a little bit time to remove it and install it back again, because you see there is a large plastic spacer, so the oil didn't get into the contacts, but it's worth it. Really, I pretty much liked how it's done. Comparing to other motors I've disassembled, this is the only one which has those contacts screwed to the board. You see with screws. So pretty interesting construction. Okay, here it goes. So I removed this plastic ring here, and I'm using kit for polish and jewelry. I had a couple of different parts here, so I can clean and polish those contacts. So if you can see, like that. See how clean it's become. Use it a little bit of deoxit, really, to make sure that I will remove all oxide. Now the only part I need to deoxit these contacts, and I'm ready to assemble. So here motor has been assembled, as you see, and I'm testing with power supply. How about performance? You see it's running, and it's very quiet. I'm not sure if you may hear it, but it's really running and vibrates. It works much better than before. No scream. I've used a drop of oil for each of the bearing and cleaned up everything. I hope flutter will go away. So the next step would be to solder the board and assemble it in the body and assemble everything back. So that's the procedure if you like to repeat yourself. So carefully open it here, and then you can just click close it back. I'm using it with this tool to click close it back. Last part, before assembling everything back, we have to install our zip ties like it was before, so our cables get not screwed before installing the board. And it's possible to do when we remove this folder assembly. So don't hesitate, make everything clear, so it would be a pleasure to work after you if someone will open it. And another thing, they will not touch anything, your cables will be set in place. Well, one more thing. I mentioned that in this playback amplifier installed the same blue capacitors as was installed on the cheap Sony DAC. So I decided to replace these two guys with the good Nakamichi Gold Muse series audio capacitors. I hope this will drastically improve the sound on this deck. We'll see. Okay, here is the final test before assembling. So we say goodbye Flutter. Currently have a little bit of wow due to capstan belt is not original, but these days it's pretty hard to find something original. So I hope the deck will perform quite well for long years. Thank you for your attention. Okay, so final checks. Here is how tape pass looks on this Nakamichi DR-2. Looks pretty tight and clean, as you may see yourself. Let me do next. Let me put on the tape here. So you may see how tape heads are sitting there. So let me zoom in. So you may see like all tape heads are sitting pretty straight on the tape pass. And now tape start rolling. Okay, so this is guy Nakamichi DR-2. So here we go. This DR-2 is currently recording 15 kHz in type 1 tape, minus 20 decibel. So it's source, it's tape, again source, tape, source. Let me make it more even, like that. Tape, about half decibel difference. I may fix it. So here is the phase stability on 15 kHz. So you may see. So amplitude stability. It's 15 kHz as you may see. Looks pretty good.